At T-Mobile, our critical mission is providing unparalleled 5G coverage for when connectivity is mission critical. Introducing T-Priority, America's best 5G network experience for first responders, even in times of congestion. More capacity, faster speeds, better coverage. T-Priority from T-Mobile, built for tomorrow's emergencies, ready today. Discover more at t-priority.com.
For qualifying organizations on eligible rate plans, coverage not available in some areas and may be impacted by emergencies.
TaxAct knows filing your small business taxes can be a nightmare, like the kind where you're being chased by a giant W-2 form and you're running and running, but you can never reach the submit button. Or something like that. So, TaxAct offers Expert Assist with live tax experts to make filing taxes less scary. Now, you can just have pleasant dreams about being chased by other giant, non-threatening paperwork. TaxAct. Let's get them over with.
Listening to 101 Part-Time Jobs. Thank you for being here. I'm Giles Bidder and I speak to musicians and artists about everything that goes on outside of the music that, to be honest, ends up affecting so much of the music that we hear. These are the stories that I want to get. This is what makes it exciting music to me. Matilda Mann joins us on today's episode. She's got her debut album, Roxwell, coming up this Friday. That's after years, probably over half her life, writing songs, releasing EPs and singles. This Friday is when her debut full length comes out. It's called Roxwell, it rocks well, and it's out this Friday. Cheers for listening. Thank you for being here. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you click subscribe. We put out 2 episodes at least every week with exciting and interesting artists, and we want you along to be here. If you're able to leave 5 stars on Spotify or Apple, wherever you're listening to this, that would be very helpful as well. We're a small independent company and we love doing this. We want to continue to do this. So thank you. Cheers to Matilda as well for this great chat that you're about to hear. She'll be right here after the jump. 101 Part-Time Jobs.
I actually applied to universities. I went to Leeds Music, and then I also went to Goldsmiths, and I wanted to go to one in London, so I wanted to go to Goldsmiths, but I didn't get in because I had tonsillitis, and they didn't care.
What? So they didn't take you? They didn't take your interview?
Well, they did. I went and got an interview, and I did the day where they interview you, I was so ill I couldn't even speak, and so obviously I couldn't sing anything very well, and they did not care that I had tonsillitis, and so I didn't get in.
That's bullcrap.
That's quite actually really lucky, because otherwise I might have gone, and I think actually it's so good I didn't go. Yeah, my body loves to make me ill when I really, really shouldn't be. It's so good at that. Recently, we filmed a music video for my song Dazed and Confused, and on the first day I had food poisoning, and I have a really small budget, so the way that my music videos work is I have an incredible director, creative director, and he has such a wonderful crew of people who just love film. They all want to be invested in things, and a lot of my music videos, I wish I could pay them all millions, but we have a really small budget, but they want to make an incredible video, so everyone does a lot of favors and is just really kind. And I woke up at 4 a.m. on the day, and I was I feel kind of sick and I hate throwing up, and I went to the bathroom and I just immediately threw up so much, and I went back to bed and I was I really think that was maybe just one of those things where you throw up and you feel better because you did it. I threw up like 8 times after that. And I had to call them all and be like, I'm so sorry. I felt so bad, and we had extras who were all fans who would come down for the day at like 7 a.m.
Okay.
It was horrible.
And you're doing like a romantic thing.
Yeah.
You know, you got your partner in it.
I was going to be in a white
like-
wedding dress. So I was like, guys, I will shit myself. I can't do this today. So very lovely of them all, even more lovely. Like we had to just rearrange it.
I'm super interested in like that's your decision making, that you're like, you know, you're the CEO, right?
So
Well, yeah, but like say it what it is. I mean, is it you? Is it your manager? Like, who do you work with when you're like, okay, we're going to spend this much on the director, this much on the location, this much on the lighting? There's loads of stuff going on there.
That's not mine, actually. It's more like I'm with a really small label who are incredible, called 7476, and I was with a major, but I wasn't. I don't know if it didn't really work for me, and I didn't really feel very in control of like what I was making, what I was doing, and where the budget that was put towards my project was put. It seemed to be placed in parts that I never would spend.
Yeah.
Whereas now we have a much smaller budget, but I'm aware of where everything is being spent and what we're doing, what the process is, which has been a very big learning curve. And we just more like delegate. We'll give the director like a certain amount of money, and he'll talk to his producers, and so he organizes what we give him the budget and the song, and he's like, right, we're gonna blow up the bank, and I'm like, okay, you do that.
That's super interesting, man, because like Ray, you know, when Ray spoke about her journey of being on a major label and then, you know, getting shelved for years, and everyone knows that story. Like that was huge. That was like, I feel like that's one of the biggest music stories of the last like 10 years or so, or whatever, right? And it's so like the knock-on effect of that is that as fans, we're going to understand, I'm going to understand. You're a fan too, right? You know, we all understand that that's kind of the way the industry works. And, you know, it is interesting, and like, that's totally why I do this show now is because like this stuff's becoming more transparent and more accountable. And actually, it's quite simply, it's helpful to know.
Yeah, I think people always, one of the things that makes me like the most sad is, well, no, actually there's so many things that make me sad, but people are always asking if I'm ever going to go to America or Australia to play. And I don't know if people like I'm doing a headline tour in April, May, and I'm going to like 15 or 20 places, maybe. I can't remember. But
in the States?
No, in the UK and Europe.
Yeah.
And even if I sold out all of my venues, I will still lose 10 grand personally. Like my label won't, because this is a separate thing. So this is me. I have to like use the money that was given to me before and save it for this, because there's no way of earning it anymore. So like if I went to America, I'd probably lose about 50K, and that's purely the reason why I'm not touring America, because I don't have 50K to do spent on tour.
And it doesn't matter if you have 1 million listeners in the States.
Yeah, it's more like you know, I want to pay my band fairly. I want us to, you know, we sleep in Premier Inns, and then that's an upgrade now for us.
Hey, Premier Inns are good. They've got the blackout blinds.
They're great. But, you know, I'm balling out for the Premier Inns now. Like, and any
good mattresses.
And pillows. They're so good. But when we sell merch, you know, the venue takes a cut of how much we earn just playing the shows, and then the people who sell our merch, they take a massive cut, and then Ticketmaster take a massive cut, and then you pay your agent, your promoters, and everyone. So
Kate Nash is speaking a lot about it recently. Like Independent Venue Week just happened. We are hearing more about it. You're not alone. Does that make you angry?
Yeah, it's so frustrating. I think but it's like a new time where people, like Ray and Kate Nash is talking about how unfair it is and stuff like that.
That's a huge part of the job. If you worked in any other job, you'd laugh at that.
Well, I think a lot of the time is like you feel so excited and privileged that you get to do music for a job. Or this is my experience anyway. Like, one, I was 20 when I signed to my major label in the middle of a pandemic. And I still lived at home and I had no idea like how artists earn money. I didn't even necessarily plan to be an artist because like I just had no idea that like a normal person could do that. I thought I was going to write lyrics for other people or like be an A&R or be someone in the music industry somehow. And so then I got signed and I was like super excited and they seemed really lovely. And they were lovely people, but I didn't really know how it went. And I think like I just went along with a lot of stuff. And then looking back, I was like, oh, that makes no sense. Like I wrote this song called The Day That I Met You when I was 20. And they didn't release it until I was 23. And they only released it because a reel I did really well. And they were like, oh my God, what's this song? And I was like, I've shown it to you about 5 times. They're like, we love it. Let's put it out. And I was like, oh, okay. Is that your big plan? Like, all you've ever told me to do is post consistently on social media and like something will happen. And then you take the reins and you make me really big or something. I've heard that's the deal. So 3 years later, like I do that. I post a lot. It does really well. And they don't have a plan. They don't do anything about it. Their plan is to just release it. And that's when I was like, major labels are not for me. You just have all of my money and music and I'm in no control about what comes out when it comes out. So goodbye.
It seems like from stories like that, and unfortunately you hear like stories about that like a lot, like something does well on TikTok 5 years later and they're like, oh, well, let's re-release it quick, push it out the door. It's like there doesn't seem to be much like actual development. You know what I mean? Like I wonder if like that role of like development like comes down to anyone apart from you, but you can only do things when other people give you the green light.
Yeah, and also I think like just as a very young adult type late child, I didn't really know like what to do. Also, like it's not really in my nature to push back and stuff. And there's so much like, it's never an argument. It's always just like, oh, well, we're not, like they signed me for an album. And then when it came to me being like, oh, I want to do an album, they were like, no, you're not big enough. And it was never in that wording. It was always like, we'll just pick another time. Or like, I think this would be better, for this reason. And it's like, oh, and it's very well put that it doesn't sound like no.
Yeah. Do you think about this stuff a lot? Do you find yourself, do you have to give yourself boundaries thinking about this stuff?
I'm very like, I don't really worry about the things I can't change.
That's very wise of you.
So, and to an extent, like there are ways I can change it. I like coming on podcasts like this. I think these are really important. When I talk to new artists, because I love going for coffees with other artists. That's how I've met a lot of my friends. I don't really mind like the age or the position that they're in, because I think, other artists are in some ways, we're each other's colleagues. We don't really go into an office. So I think it's good to like talk to people who are going through similar things to you.
For sure.
And I always, explain my experience and what I found in a major label, what I found in an independent label. So I can't change the face of the music industry, but I can do what I can. I can keep talking about it and being aware of things, I guess. But I don't sit in my bed and rock.
But it must be mad, after all this time coming up to the album, the debut album this Friday. I mean, I wonder if it's almost like sort of too overwhelming to kind of feel all of it right now.
Yeah, I also like, I don't really, in all honesty, expect that much to come from it. I think like I've been an artist that's kind of grown slowly, and I'm quite happy with that because I don't know if I'd ever be good as like someone who blows up and suddenly has all this attention. I think that would kind of freak me out. And so I you know, I've been really fortunate to have grown a really lovely fan base and work with really lovely people who I, you know, have worked with since I was 18. And I don't know, I just don't expect it to become massive. I think like I think it might be one of those albums that take me on to something really big, or like that people learn to love like over time or something. I just I don't know, again, I think it's that thing of I didn't really expect to be an artist. And so I can't really fathom the idea a lot of the time that people really love my music. I like, it's so lovely and I can see it. But it's a really weird concept to me.
Yeah, and you might get like comments on Instagram, and you can click on those people's profiles and you can sort of see if they're a bot or not, and you can see if people are real. But if people are listening to you, you know, the people who are listening to you on Spotify and Apple, like they're a number. Like you don't know anything about them. You know,
No, I don't know.
How can it be that? How can it feel that real if you don't have, you know, you can't see the whites of their eyes or their hair color. You know what I mean? It's
it's also like a lot of imposter syndrome. I think like it's just such a unique job that I feel really lucky to do. And there's definitely like its downsides to it, as is any job. But I think it was my friend Leve went on tour with her, and I was complaining about social media and having to like post all the time. She's so good at that. Like she's got such a smart like outlook on the industry, as well as just being a really talented musician. And she was like, she didn't mean to be sassy, but she went, "Do you like your job?" And I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "Is it your dream job?" And I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "Do you think if everyone could have their dream job because they post a couple times a week, they would do it?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "You do it, girl." I will. And it's like one of my favorite things someone said to me. It's like, it was really just like a perspective thing of, oh my God,
yeah,
you know, I think you can do this. Just get on with it, like jobs are. I also like to think, oh, but it's things that I really love doing. It's not like I'm doing little jobs all the time that I hate. Like all of these things are things that I enjoy doing, and so I should, you know, I don't know, it helps more to try and look at things positively.
Totally.
Sometimes that can, you know, it might sound naive, but like I think just for your own mental state, it's good to look at things like that.
Hey, I got one more question, Matilda.
Yay.
And that is, I love hearing about people's work mistakes. What's one big, it's quite a broad question, isn't it? What's one like classic scrape that you've got into with yourself or with someone else?
One of my worst days, I used to work in a garden centre, which I really liked. That was like my last job before lockdown, and then I got signed. So I was like my 20th birthday, and it was the day after, and I was so hungover, like I've never been so hungover in my entire life. And I walked in, and it's a garden centre, which is really beautiful and lovely, but they also have like a little shop at the front. And my manager was like, "Tilda, can you smell all of the candles and put the best smelling ones at the front?" And I was like, "Mm-hmm." And all of them smelled like a toilet. They all stank. There was like two nice ones, and I was like,
like the urinal cake thing.
So it was one of those ones, and I was like, every time I sniffed them, I was like, oh, I'm going to throw up. But my favorite one is before I worked in a pub, and my best friend was working at the pub like a couple of weeks before me, and I arrived for my first shift, which was a Sunday, which is the busiest day, and this is like a really popular pub near me.
So Sunday roasts
Everywhere. Everyone is like running around, and like the table turnover is crazy. And I walk in through the kitchen and I see my friend standing by the cutlery, and above her are all of the wine glasses that are upside down, like hanging, you know.
Yeah.
And she's like gonna go and get one, and she turns around and sees me and she goes, "Matilda," and pulls the whole rack of wine glasses down, and all of it smash into the cutlery, where everyone just goes in and grabs cutlery, into the two plates she's holding on her hands, and like the whole pub goes silent. And the manager at the pub is like, "Do you guys know each other?" And I was like, "I don't know who the fuck she is." Like,
That is really bad.
it was so funny. I mean, it wasn't. It is now.
Because if it's going into the cutlery, I mean, that is health and safety crisis.
You have to go and wash everything. So that was my first job. I had to go and then wash all the cutlery and take all the glass out. And some poor people didn't get their food in time.
That is a good tale. I appreciate that, Matilda. I appreciate you. Thank you for that.
Well, thanks for having me on here. It's been very fun.
So there was Matilda Mann here on 101 Part-Time Jobs. Her debut record, the excellent Roxwell, is out this Friday. Loads of great tunes on there, loads of different sounds. Thank you for being here. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And we're looking forward to tomorrow's episode with Anthony Schmerich, who also has his debut record, Service Station at the End of the Universe, this Friday. He's a brilliant, funny, caring, charismatic dude. And I'm excited to bring him to the show. That's tomorrow. See you then.
101 Part-Time Jobs is hosted by Giles Bidder and produced by me, Olivia Swash. This has been a Mighty Moon Media production.